Hey, Facebook. All right, so let's make sure that the lighting's really good for this. Make sure I don't have to be too close or too far away from you guys. So I was on yesterday and I mentioned about my group that I have going on. Sorry, looking at my hair, kind of off topic, but this, you guys mostly see me with it pulled back, right? I can't stand it in my face when I'm working out. If I'm going somewhere, I will totally do it. But this is what you get when you go to bed after you've taken a shower. So my hair is so straight, so straight. And there's not much that I can do about it unless I want to style it, which I don't mind doing if I'm actually going somewhere. But if I'm going to bed and then the next day I'm just going to wake up and be alone all day, kind of a moot point for me. So this is what you get when you sleep on wet hair or unstyled hair. And I'm growing it out, so it's, that in-between stage, and clips and all kinds of things is what's happening when I work out. So sorry for the hair. That is just the way things go, right? So I mentioned about the group. And so let me just quickly, I just want to make sure that they're going to jump on here. Hold on one sec. So the group, basically, we talk about, we have this segment, which is my favorite segment of the whole 2 weeks that I do these groups. And it is sharing how to turn, like, your favorite awesome foods into clean recipes and like things to look for, reading labels, that kind of stuff. So I really love to do this because the big thing that most people have of a misconception when they first get started is that they have to like be super restrictive and give up everything. And that's so not the case. That's so not the case. And so I want to go through my pantry with you guys and give you some examples of some really yummy things that we can do. Hold on one second. I just wanted to make sure that those guys were jumping on. Okay, so what I did yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I think, was I had a post in our group. And I always ask them, I say, hey guys, so let's talk about food. Post for me what your favorite temptation is or your favorite food is, right? And then what ingredients are in there that makes it really bad, right? So for me, it's nachos. I love nachos. And, it's hard to replace like a good restaurant nacho, right? And everybody's got their place where they go and they get their chips and salsa and that kind of stuff. But, if your weakness is chips and those kinds of things, then, there's things that we can talk about so that you can understand what you're eating, right? And maybe make some healthier decisions when it comes to that kind of thing. So salsa, pretty much is what it is. If you're a person that's looking, let's see, do I get a new one? Oh, I think we ate it probably already. But what I look for when I have salsa is I look at the ingredients on the back. And you can kind of do the same thing with something like a barbecue sauce. Same idea. So if you're a person that's trying to stay away from sugar, I don't know why salsa puts sugar in there, but all you need to do is read the label and go through that. So if you are, picking out salsas and stuff, make your own. I have an awesome recipe that I got from a friend that I just make my own. There are ones that I have like favorites in the store that I look for. But if you're not really sure, or I guess the one thing is to stay away from the commercial ones. Like if you like the Tostitos brand or like Chi-Chi's, like those brands, look at the labels and see what it says. Okay. Should be pretty straightforward. It should say tomatoes, jalapenos, cilantro. Like if there's anything on there that you don't know what it is, don't eat it. Don't buy it. Right. If you're a person trying to stay away from sugar, watch out for that. If it says sugar or sucrose, it's going to be your processed white sugar. That's natural in New Mexico. So you're looking for things like cane sugar is okay, stevia is okay. Stevia is the only, type of plant-based sugar you should be thinking about. Stay away from like Sweet and Lows and Equals and those kinds of things. So we'll take this. This is kind of a similar situation where you're looking at a barbecue sauce, tomato puree, Spice, natural flavor, that's on the cusp. Honey, molasses, cider vinegar, sugar, gluten-free soy sauce, spices, liquid smoke. So it's not terrible because we recognize what all these things are. But if you're trying to eat clean, you do want to stay away from sugar. Soy sauce isn't the greatest, but it's not terrible, right? Like I've seen. Just pull this one out because I was thinking this one had more stuff in it. Not terrible, but it does have canola oil in it. This is like a teriyaki, and it also has cornstarch in it, and it has the xantha gum, whatever that is. Honestly, you could probably Google it. But when there's stuff in my labels that I don't understand what they are, I don't buy them, for treats and stuff like that. So when we're talking about like chips and things like that, believe it or not, they're starting to make more and more things these days that you can eat. So let me grab a couple examples. Again, we're talking about the less the ingredients, the better, right? So I really love the blue chips, and you can get organic or whatever, but it says right on the label, this is just one specific brand. I've actually found several that fall into, technically a healthier category. So it's got blue corn, expeller pressed sunflower oil or safflower oil, which those are okay. You want to stay away from canola oil, and sea salt versus regular salt. So you want sea salt, you don't want table salt. Table salt is processed and has all kinds of like iodines and things like that. So things like that in it. But you can have sea salt. I usually buy things that are unsalted and then add the sea salt to it, or the Himalayan salt and that kind of thing. And there's tons, you can just read those labels and you'll be able to see. Now, I'm not saying that these are low fat, because they're not, right? But technically, if you wanted to have a serving, you could get away with having a serving and not overdo things. It says an ounce, and that's quite a few chips. Like, you could make a taco salad with that. So think about it that way. We're talking about portion control. So if you're going to eat things like that, have within your limits, right? Have within your portions, and read your labels, right? Another really good example are these Ruffles, right? So their ingredients are potatoes, sunflower oil, and sea salt. I mean, that's as basic as it gets, right? And again, it's not that they're like, they're fried, they're in fat, but if you were to have a serving, it would, you count that as your serving for the day, your carb and your fat, but technically it's cleaner than eating, a bag of Doritos or something like that, right? So when it comes to, I'm looking for the dog, he's barking at the door. When it comes to, looking for treats, clean treats, read your labels. You're probably not going to find clean cookies in the grocery store, but you can make them yourself. And I have a handful of really awesome cookbooks that I use where you can actually make clean cookies, clean pies, clean brownies, and all of that kind of stuff too. And believe it or not, they taste better than the store-bought. And the biggest thing with that you're going to notice is how you feel after you eat them. Again, you don't want to eat a plate of clean cookies. They're still fattening. It's still going to be fat in there, and it's still going to be, those things are going to be in there. But they're just going to be better for you. Your overall insides are going to thank you for making something like this versus going to eat like a box of Entenmann's or something like that, right? So let's see what we posted, and I'll give you guys some other examples too, because people think I can't eat bread, I can't eat pasta, and like that stuff is so far from the truth, because you can find things that are good for you. And I was just saying to someone the other day, I thought that I was never, when I started my journey, that I would never eat a bagel and cream cheese ever again, because they're just so heavy bread. It's like heavy bread, right? Well, guess what just came out, okay? My favorite Dave's Killer Bread just unveiled everything bagels, and they have cinnamon raisin ones too. So good. They are so good. So a serving for me is a half a bagel, but that's fine. It's like eating a piece of toast. And I even found some cream cheese that's clean that I can use on there too, that I can share that information with you guys, that brand. There's nothing in it that's bad. the bread recipe. Oh, you know what? My other friend made the bread recipe from Fix8 too. I heard that was good. So obviously anything that you make yourself is better than anything store-bought too. I like Dave's because it's all, and you can tell it's natural because it gets green and fuzzy if you don't eat it in like a week. So it's the real deal. There's nothing in there. It's basically like, wheat, chia seeds, garlic, onion, flax seeds, sesame seeds, brown sesame seeds, lots of stuff. It does have the cane sugar, rolled oats, sunflower seeds. So it's made from, and it does have wheat. So if you have wheat issue, then you can't obviously have this, but organic fermented rye flour, and that kind of stuff. And I think that it tastes amazing. I have my burgers on that. I just prefer it over to regular bread now. But yeah, you could totally make your own. Again, a cookbook like this will have recipes, and then, like June said, the cooking show, the Fix8 cooking show, has breads that you can make too, which come out amazing. And then I was gonna say about the pasta. So we know that white box pasta is full of whatever. I don't even know what all this stuff is. It doesn't even sound like food. I'm just not really even sure. So when I have a craving for pasta, I get the brown rice pasta. And this is the brand that I see near me. There's probably more around, but I think that this is pretty well known on most grocery stores. I've seen it in a lot of grocery stores. And all that, the ingredients are brown rice bran, and water. And some just have brown rice as the ingredient. People think that it's going to taste different or be weird and mushy, and it's not at all. It's very good. And again, the feeling after eating a bowl of white processed pasta versus something like that is like night and day. Like, you will feel amazing because it's good food. It's not going to sit in that lump, like pasta does. Or make your own, right? You can make your own. I actually found a person at the local farm. I think I mentioned this to you guys before. I remember saying this. Local farm up the street where they make their own pasta. The ingredients are wheat flour, water, spinach, eggs, garlic, olive oil, spirulina, black pepper, and cayenne pepper, and that's it. So, read your labels, right? To really, really understand what you're eating. So that's the breads and the pastas. You don't have to give up this stuff. You don't have to give up any of this stuff. Just read your labels, right? Someone posted about cheesecake. So again, stuff that you can make yourself. You can totally, let's see what we got for cheesecake in this book. I know that anything that you can think of, you could type into Google and write clean cheesecake or healthy cheesecake. Probably not healthy, probably clean is a better word, or paleo cheesecake, if that's such a thing. The words paleo and clean will give you recipes with basic ingredients in them. Recipes that only have a couple ingredients, and recipes that you can pronounce that are good for you, right? Let me just see real quick if I can find a cheesecake in this book. Chocolate, macaroons, chips, chicken. No, not in this book, but we can Google it and look it up. And I meant to do that earlier because usually I can get like a link and share it right away of good recipes and things like that. Yeah, and then they posted too, we talked about making brownies and those kinds of things. Because everybody's downfall is either going to be, sweet cookies and things like that, or it's going to be chips. Like for me, it would be like chips and popcorn and that kind of thing. So you can make brownies. As June mentioned about the Fix8. Fix8 has a ton of brownie recipes on there, cookie recipes. They just put an ice cream sandwich recipe up there. I think it's a peanut butter ice cream. Oh my gosh! So the ice cream's chocolate, and then the outside part is like a peanut butter cookie. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, but it's meant to work within your daily meal plan and fit within the clean scope of things. But this, giving you this example of this book again, this is a paleo book, so it's going to give you all kinds of examples. That might be why the cheesecake isn't in there, because you're talking about the graham crackers. We would have to research that, but I totally could find that for you guys if you're interested in learning about making a clean cheesecake. And And another one that people talk about too is pizza. So, you know, same goes for, you can make your own bread, you can make your own dough and roll out the pizza. King Arthur makes an amazing, they've got some ancient grains flour, which this is one is gluten-free. But if you make your own homemade stuff, you can never go wrong. You know, I think the biggest problem with making your own homemade pizza, for me anyway, would be not to eat the whole thing. That would be the problem for me, because portion control has always been an issue. So if you put like a piece of pizza in front of me, I can't do that. I would rather not do pizza at all if I can't have more than a couple slices, honestly. So I would just chalk it up to a cheat meal, because that's just something personally that I can't control myself with. So I won't do it if I can't. So let's see, what else do we got here? Chili cheese Fritos. There is no clean recipe for Fritos. Unless you make that stuff yourself. June, have you ever made corn chips? You're on your own there. You always have all kinds of really cool recipes and things. I actually, what do you call it? We do have Fritos. My son is a huge Frito fanatic. Let's see what's in it. So the stuff's not terrible. You know, corn is not the best, but you know what? There's worse. So this is corn oil, and salt. There's salt in it. So you'll feel that. It's not sea salt. So there's a big difference between sea salt and table salt. There's iodine and chemicals in table salt. And like, if it just says salt, it's the bad salt. If it says sea salt, Himalayan salt, then that's a different kind of salt, and those are okay. But if it just says salt, it's processed. It's stripped down to make it sellable, commercial, you know, like, what do you call it? Profitable for those people, you know, that they're stripping it down so they can make more and distribute it and, as to a serving. Exactly. And that's part of it too. Cause so like me and June, we eat, the container system. And so, for example, you know, you get so many of the different, servings of each thing a day. Like you should only be eating so many fats, right? And so many carbs and so many proteins. And that's based on your body makeup and your activity level, how old you are, you know, what your goals are and those kinds of things. But everybody really essentially in a perfect world should be having, you know, so many servings of each category, macronutrients each day, right? That's just going to make you successful with your goals, healthy goals that we eat. Even if we're not talking about losing weight, if we're talking about being healthy, they're really, you need to have a certain balance of the foods throughout the day, right? So the container system makes it really easy. For me, it's a no-brainer. I just count how many of each one I need. But so the yellow, I think it's like a half a cup or something like that. It would equal a serving of chips or Fritos. It would. But you'd also have to count it as a daily fat too. So like, for example, if you were doing macros, which essentially the containers are macros, so it's the same thing. But if you were going to be counting for your serving for the day, so like for me, if I could have Fritos, I wouldn't give up, the way that my day goes, I wouldn't give up what I'm doing for a carb. But anyways, let's say I want to have Fritos. I could do my Fritos and it would count as a yellow, and then I would count it as one of my fat containers. So we get orange, which would be seeds and salad dressings. And then the blue is like your healthy fats, like avocados, cheese, hummus, that kind of thing. But I would just count it as one of those because the fat is going to be the same. It's not a good fat. So technically, you know, but you need to count it. So you can't have to give up something else. So like, you also get an allotment of like, say, teaspoons of oils and nut butters. You could count it as that. But for me, I don't think I get enough teaspoons to have it equal 10 grams of fat. I'd have to just do a quick calculation, but it would count as a fat and a carb, basically. And it's 10 chips. I mean, personally, you know, if you're not a person that can't eat the whole bag and you just need a taste, it could work for you, you know? Is it healthy? No. But you know, we're not talking about giving up things that we love, right? We're talking about finding that healthy balance. So if you're not eating a bag of chips every day and you're working it into like your weekend or something and it's a serving, you know, it's okay. I also feel like, you know, again, chalk it up to a treat meal. Have like last weekend I was craving a sandwich. Like, can't even tell you the last time I've had a whole sandwich with 2 full pieces of bread, meat. I even put mayonnaise on it, which I don't normally do, and chips. Like, that's so old school for me. Like that, I grew up that way. And you know what happened to me after I ate that? I wasn't hungry the rest of the day. I was like, ugh, I was so tired. You know, it was just not my normal thing. So it's funny how food can affect you in certain ways. People are saying to me a lot, you know, oh, my metabolism's tanked. I'm not even hungry. You know, my mom says that to me all the time. I'm never hungry. Why am I never hungry? It's because of the different things that you're eating, and it's not balanced throughout the day. If you're eating the small balanced meals throughout the day, you're going to find that you're going to want to eat more. You're going to find that you feel better. You're going to find that your energy is through the roof, and it's going to be awesome. So let's see what else we got on here. Brownies. We talked about brownies. Fast food. Okay, so that's good. Chips, chocolate, drive-through. Okay, so and that's part of it too. So 2 things that you can work on for whether if it's a fast food scenario or it's fast food because of the way it tastes, like the speed versus the taste. You can kind of go 2 ways with that. So I have actually made our family chicken fingers and fries for dinner. You know, it's definitely a little bit more than I would normally eat, but because it's healthy, it's like a healthy cheat meal. But you could probably, you know, figure out how much you need of everything and make it more healthier for your family. My kids love it, and that's really important to me too, because they will eat these homemade chicken fingers and the homemade French fries over store-bought or you know, anything out of the package like dinosaurs and things like that. So with that said, anything that let's talk about oils, right? Anything that you want to fry, like any vegetables that I saute, I do that with olive oil. You know, that's my go-to just because of the taste, right? So roasting vegetables is definitely going to be olive oil, that kind of thing. You could use avocado oil. That's really mild too. If you wanted to make your own homemade mayonnaise, you can use avocado or olive oil. I didn't like the avocado as much as the olive oil mayonnaise when I made it. It doesn't last long when you make it. It's really simple, but it doesn't last long. So, you know, that's just something you can take into consideration. But you can have mayonnaise. I would just make your own. I wouldn't buy the store-bought organic. I've looked for it to see, and there's stuff in it that you just don't need. So you could make your own. I digress. Anytime I fry, we do cut up potatoes and we do chicken fingers for the kids. And I'll do it too. I'll make like a garlic, it's like a garlic, honey mustard, garlic yogurt, mayonnaise, not mayonnaise, but it's yogurt dip, honey mustard dip. It's a spicy, so that's really good too. Coconut oil is my go-to for frying anything. And you can buy it in so many different ways. It comes in liquid too, and this one's a hard one, you know, right? You can get the smelly kind. This is the not smelly kind. I cannot stand coconuts at all. So this is just what they call it, naturally refined. I just bought another one too. I can never remember. So refined. Crisco makes it too. I just bought another one. So you're looking for refined. That's a not smelly version. Unrefined is going to be stinky. It's going to smell like coconuts. And it's also going to give your food a taste that you may or may not like. That's a personal preference. I don't like the smelly kind. You can get it liquid, like I said. I think that's more expensive. So like, I take potatoes and I wedge them up, cut them up, and then get a big pan. I don't measure the oil, I'll be honest with you, because it's for all the kids. I just make it so it's going to taste good. I put enough oil in it, it's frying them. And same with the chicken fingers. And so you can bread them in a couple ways. The kids love the way this tastes. Now, I've played with this a few times. You can use almond flour, which is going to be a little bit more fattening too. It does, because it comes from almonds. There's coconut flour. All these flours, you'll find, you know, Bob's Red Mill. There's like always a whole display of this at the store. So you can find, this is almond flour, the coconut flour. You'll also find your tapioca starch in place of cornstarch. That's something that you could use. So I'll mix the two, and that will give it more of like a flat, you know how like a light breading, that like how a cornstarch does, right? I will also do, I've been doing these for them. And this is basically gluten-free breadcrumbs. I think you have to read the labels, because if you're doing like, you know, 4-season breadcrumbs, let's see if we can find one here. Okay, this is a good example. There's a lot of stuff in it. So I've got these gluten-free breadcrumbs, milled corn, evaporated cane juice, and sea salt. Okay, so they're pretty good. For the kids, I don't get crazy about the labels, but I do read them still, because if it's got extra stuff that you don't need, it's just not necessary, you know, because they eat enough crap, right? So this has panko style breadcrumbs, wheat flour. So this is like, you know, basically bread ripped up, right? Dextrose, sugar, yeast, salt, pecorino cheese, salt. So this is not the best. This is not the best one. Oh, and here's our regular breadcrumbs. Let's just see. This is like just generic breadcrumbs. Same thing. Look at the list on the back. This is the list of ingredients here. So I will tell you, you know, that if your labels have this list, put it back. If it has more than a couple ingredients, put it back. If there's stuff on there you can't pronounce, put it back. Don't eat it. I think it's just silly, because we don't need all that stuff. High fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated vegetable oil, just in these breadcrumbs. They look so innocent. You can find better stuff. And, whoa. And you don't, it's not going to be really expensive. I'm telling you, I mean, we have 5 people in our family. Hi, Stacy. I don't break the bank. I spend minimal. We have a great shopping center. There's plenty of them around, and you just have to look, right? You just have to look around. And so what was I getting at? We were talking about, fast food. Okay, so that takes care of the taste part, right? And so, like I said, I wedge up the potato, I get the chicken fingers, bread them, and then I fry them in that oil. So that's my favorite. You can use safflower oil too. I've done the potatoes in that too. That's not bad. But coconut's definitely my go-to. It's high heat, so it works really well too. And then, as far as fast food goes, because I know my friend Jessica posted this one. She is a busy bee trying to go through school right now. So there is actually, and so the groups that I do, besides this specific one, I do a lot of different groups. And one in particular, we talk about having meals made up in your freezer all the time, so that when you're a person like that and you're on the go and you are, you know, baseball happens after work, right? And you're all over the place, that you can grab one of these meals and nuke them or cook it up in 15 minutes and you've got food. So being prepared and having those safety nets in place is going to really help you too. So like, I can totally picture, you know, someone like that, her day is busy, she's trying to study, she's a mom, she's working, like all these things are happening, right? And she's like, you know what, and I'm starving, now what am I going to do, right? So with a little bit of thought and, you know, picking one, you know, free day, maybe when she has someone to watch the kids for a little bit, she could get things together, and we have a handful, a list of that I can share with you guys. Freezer, you know, type meals that you can have ready, individually set up so that you can grab it out of the freezer, and that can be your fast food. And you know, then you'll feel better. Excuse me. You'll feel better about doing that, about making that better choice. You've got that all ready. You know, I always also say that, you know, Shakeology is the best fast food. That is my fast food. As there's so many times when I've grabbed Shakeology and just gone with it. I will share. I think we did it in one of the groups, June, but you might not have seen it. Angie posted it first, and she wrote, It was like a blue and gold thing, but I'll try to dig it up. I'll ask her we'll post it again. And I know I posted in my feed before too. I shared it. It was such a great idea because a lot of people forget about that, you know, about having prepped meals, like portioned meals, or making like, it's something like making chili and having it, you know, portioned out in like Tupperware or whatever, so that you can just, you know, pull it out when you need it. Stuff like that, you know, meals like that, quick. And so like for me, knowing when I drink Shakeology, I know that I'm getting, you know, fruits and vegetable servings. Like it just feels awesome going down. And like for me, I drink that when I'm going to the baseball games, because I know the game's going to last 2 hours and then we'll get dinner when we get home. And usually we've already said, okay, it's late those nights. Now that it's nice out, we can throw something on the grill quick. Like last night we did steaks after practice. Tonight it's going to be, I think we're going to try to do, we're just going to do our leftover meatballs and stuff, but something quick, right? So I'm always thinking, you know, I don't want to be up till 10 o'clock trying to cook us dinner. Like that sucks. So it's going to go on the grill. It's pork chops, you know, in a salad, or pork chops and some broccoli, baked potato, something easy, right? I always have rice in the fridge, like that kind of thing. I'm always thinking ahead because we are so busy too. And I'm so not Susie Homemaker. I'm so not, like, I'm simple. I am super simple, like chicken, broccoli, you know, rice. Like that's my thing. Sometimes when I'm in the mood for something, I'll prep. Like right now I've got roasted peppers in the fridge. And that's something that I love, but it's a labor of love to roast peppers. Like you could get 5 big peppers, right, and roast them, and that gives you what, like 2 servings? That's so lame, and I hate that. But I'll do it when I'm, you know, craving it or something like that. That's just like a specific example. So what I want from this video is I want you to post below your recipe or your craving, your thing that you love to eat, but no, you shouldn't maybe, or feel like you shouldn't. And I'm going to show you how to clean it up and how we can make it better. Or like if you're a person that loves, you know, barbecue sauce, and help you to find, you know, that, or make your own barbecue sauce. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to know, you know, what you need help with. I want to know, you know, what things that are your obstacle when it comes to food. Is it like Jessica and it's fast food, or do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with, you know, temptation, like your other family members, they just don't get it, right? I get a lot of that too. So like for me personally, I always think of the example of when you get on the airplane and they say to put the oxygen mask on you first and then help your kid. That's so me in life. So I am always thinking about my next meal and when I need to eat, because my family members don't have the same goals as I do, right? So half the time I'm eating and I'm helping them as I'm eating and that kind of thing. So for me, I'm planning out simple. I'm doing, thinking about, okay, I'm going to plan my dinner first because I know that includes everyone. And then since I'm alone the rest of the day, I can fill in the blanks there. So for me, meal planning is really simple. We plan dinner. So like last night, I posted my dinner. We did steaks. We did baked potatoes. Some people had salad. I had my salad for lunch. So I was out on my salad dressing. I won't eat salad if I can't have salad dressing on it. That's just not happening. And I already did that for lunch. So I had broccoli, and so those 3 things are our dinner: veggie, a starch, and the protein. And so whatever it is, if it's chicken, if it's pork, whatever it is. If it's our meatballs tonight, we got the meatballs, we got the sauce, and I might saute mushrooms to add some extra veggie padding in there, or they might have salad probably too again, and then. The pasta, I haven't decided. I can make that pasta or the brown rice pasta. Sometimes I do rice, but that's kind of weird. But I usually do like to have another carb like at night. So for my dinner, I do my carb in the post-workout and then at night. So I get a couple servings of those. But anyways, going off on a tangent, right? So I plan the dinner first. I work backwards because I know I have to account for everyone at dinner. So I plan that first. And then like I portion my part out. You know, I still use the containers sometimes at dinner. With the meatballs, I know I can have 5, and that's my serving, just because of my scooper, and so that's like just my regular thing. Then I know so that's one meal, and then my Shakeology is in the afternoon. I also do hard-boiled eggs. That will either be before, depending on when dinner is, it's either before dinner or after dinner. So those three things are towards the end of the day. Shakeology is after lunch. And then, so those three things are happening. My lunch is usually a salad with a protein and some cheese and the salad dressing on it. My post-workout is like a protein of some kind, like usually the Beachbody Recover, and then I have my half a bagel, which is so yummy. Today's leg day, so that's going to really help. And then in the morning when I'm getting the kids going for the bus, I do, and I do eat fruit. I forgot to say that, but in the morning I do an apple and a cup of egg whites. So that starts me off. That starts me off really well. And I also feel like, you know, in saying that, you have to really start to understand and get in tune with your body. Like for me, I used to do the egg whites and oatmeal before my workouts, and the oatmeal has some sort of a reaction in my body, and it doesn't make me feel good during my workouts. It's like almost like a jittery reaction. But if I have an apple, those carbs absorb into my system so much better, and I feel so much like stronger and that kind of thing. But I think that's different for everyone. Everyone metabolizes food differently, and everyone's different when it comes to that stuff. So again, what I want from you guys is to post below and comment what it is that you struggle with or that you need help with. Your recipe that you're looking for your family. You know, you're struggling with fast food. You're struggling with reading labels, if you need help with a specific item that you've got in your pantry, if it's good or if it's not good. You know, is it something that you drinking a lot of juice, or you know, what is going on in your specific circumstance that I can help you with to make things easier, to make this lifestyle change more fun for you, right? So this is like my favorite thing to do, because I love to debunk people's like misconceptions about what they think about going on a diet or being healthy. Like, it's so much far off the mark than what people think. You know, they think they're going to have to just eat salad and rabbit food and 900 calories a day. And yeah, that's not good at all. So we need food. We need a lot of good food. We need a lot of healthy fats. We need a lot of healthy carbs. We need a lot of protein. And I think I said this, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like just for like to get your brain working, you need so many calories for your brain to work, so many calories for your eyes to work. I mean, we're talking hundreds of calories to make your body just function day to day. So if you're not fueling it in the right way with the right things, you're not going to function. People wonder why they have aches and their pains and they're slow and they're tired. And look at what you're eating. Look at what you're eating. That's the answer I have for you. You know, I'm not going to say, I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm not going to say that the whole medical community can just treat every illness and ailment with food. But a good amount of what we are ailing from in this day and time is from what we're eating and what we're not eating. Mostly what we're not eating. I would say the majority of the people that I talk to are not eating the right things, not even close to enough food. Or if they're overeating the wrong things. But I would say that the more often than not, I'm coming across people that aren't eating enough food. They skip meals, and then they wonder why they crave stuff, and then they wonder why they're tired, or they're drinking a bunch of soda. You know, there's just so much, and I'm here to educate you guys. I'm not here to stand up on my soapbox and say, look at me and how awesome I am. I want to share this with you because I am discovering this stuff for myself too. I was in your shoes. I was eating fast food. I was eating bagels and cream cheese. I was drinking Diet Cokes. I was smoking cigarettes. I was taking pills, like all of this stuff, okay? And I have never felt better in my life than eating good whole foods and having daily exercise in my life. And it's awesome. And I want you to feel that way too. I just want that for everyone. You know, and that's totally why I got into this, because if I can feel this awesome at 43 years old, I mean, I feel better than I did when I was 20. More energy than ever at this point in my life. My skin is clear. I like to say I have no wrinkles. I mean, better than most, maybe. But I want everyone to feel this way. I just do. I just do. I want you all to feel this way. So I'm passionate about this. I would love to help you. Message me if you have questions. Post in here where I can help you and where you're struggling. And let's get on it together so that, we can make it better. We can give you your energy back. We can look at what you're doing and help. I want to help you. That's it. I just want to help. All right, guys, have a good day. It's leg day. I'm excited. I really need to get to my workout. It's getting late. It's 9:45? Wow. Okay. So I'm going to get to it, and I'll see you guys later.